Good morning everyone. So this is the last video 4 on anxiety, and I'm going to give you one last little tool that you can use to help combat your anxiety and panic. So recap. We've done box breathing. So I've taught you the importance of box breathing, because when you're feeling anxious and panic and your breathing starts racing, if you do box breathing, it can actually help calm you down and regulate you and just kind of slow you down a little bit. And then after your box breathing, I taught you a tool called distraction, which were those really good little embedded memories you can form in your brain. And when you are feeling anxious, you can go to those good memories and actively choose to focus on them instead of focusing on that thing that is causing you incredible anxiety. And the last little tool I would like to teach you is something called knowing your triggers. And what that means is understanding yourself, understanding what those little things are that are causing you to feel out of control, panicked, anxious, worried. I often say to your students, I can try and understand your world. I can try and understand you by listening to you and really being with you in presence. But I'm not you. No one understands you as much as you understand yourself. You know you better than any other human being. So for this part of combating your anxiety, it involves you getting to know yourself even better. It's really breaking things down and understanding what are the facts. What are the facts? So I might be feeling all of this emotion, all of these triggers, but what are the facts? What is actually causing my anxiety, and what are my triggers? Because if you understand yourself and if you know your triggers, you can actively choose to do something about them. Now, some triggers you can change, and some triggers you actually just need to learn to live with. So if you are like dogs, some people are really anxious about dogs. They have huge anxiety about dogs. So if you understand that your triggers are being when a dog is kind of off the lead, or where there are lots of dogs, you can choose to not go to a park at certain times when you know there'll be lots of dogs going out for dog walks or that sort of thing. But what happens if you go to the shop and someone's, waiting outside the shop with a little dog, and you see the dog or big dog, and you think, oh my gosh, there's a dog, and your anxiety gets panicked. At that point, you would stop and you would think, right, I understand my triggers. I know that I'm scared of dogs. I know that that's going to fuel my anxiety. But let me stop and think, right, that dog is on a lead. That dog is sitting. That dog doesn't even look like it's really interested in me. Oh, hang on, that dog is busy eating a bone or a biscuit or something. So you can get all the facts straight. Or actually, if you look at the dog, you realize, you know what? That dog actually looks like it's asleep, so it's actually not going to do anything to me. Whereas if you don't stop yourself and think and use your triggers, you just have this perceived threat of a dog, danger, it's going to do something to me. But when you breathe, you distract yourself, and then you engage your triggers and you start to break things down using your brain, you might realize that that thing that you thought was so dangerous actually, under the circumstances, isn't as bad a threat. And then you might have to walk past that dog, and you still might have an increased heart rate, yeah, and you still might feel a bit nervous. But actually, by knowing your trigger and understanding the facts, and maybe then realizing that that dog isn't interested in me, the dog is sleeping, or the dog is looking up at its owner and getting pecked by its owner, you can then take a breath and you can walk past the dog, maybe get into the shop, and you can face your anxiety, you can face your fear actually, and you are still safe. So that's a really, really good tool. There are lots of ways that you can do that. I journal my stuff sometimes, because if you write down this perceived threat, if you write down what your triggers are, and then if you write down what the facts of the situation are, sometimes if it's on paper, it's quite a good way to look at things rationally. Because sometimes when we're just thinking about things, that the amygdala can take over, and you sometimes don't even realize the facts. But when you write stuff down, you can actually break it down and understand your triggers and understand the facts, and that can really, really, really help you. So I'd encourage you to try those different techniques. when you are feeling very anxious and feeling overwhelmed or worried. It does work, I can tell you from first-hand experience. It definitely does work. It just takes a bit of practice. So this is it. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I will see you after Easter. Oh, I'm going to miss seeing you, students. I love seeing you in school. But have a lovely Easter break, and I will see you after Easter. Take care. Bye.